Hello and welcome to another segment of Western Wisconsin Journal. I'm Jamie Johnson, and normally I say I'm the government and political correspondent, but today our program is one that we have, fairly regularly, and that is nonprofits and community groups, and that focus on charity and service. And who we have today for our guest is Chris Kost, Executive Director of the local YMCA here in Hudson. Chris, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jamie. Happy to be here.
So, Chris, we were talking off camera about the subject matter here today, and we're going to be talking about the recent announcement of kind of the adoption of Youth Action Hudson into, the leadership of under the leadership of the YMCA. But before we get into those specifics, tell us a little bit about yourself. You've been in the community how long, and what you do in your role as director at the YMCA.
Yeah, thank you, Jamie. Next week will be my 8th year here in Hudson as executive director of the YMCA. Thank you. My family and I live here. My son will be a senior this year at the high school, and my daughter will be a freshman, and both in the Hudson school systems. My wife is a teacher, so education fits in our family. I love being part of the Y. My dad was a pastor. I didn't want to be a pastor, but I wanted to give back. And being an executive director working for the Y gives me that opportunity to give back to our community. And that's been a big focus for my years, is giving back. And part of my life has been Rotary here, as well as I'm on the chamber board, work with some other organizations in town to give back to this wonderful community that we live, work, and play in.
Okay. Well, and you mentioned Rotary. That's our other common connection. Besides the Y, I've been a member since the Y opened in 1995, but here in Hudson. But Rotary, you joined basically at the same time that you began as the executive director, correct?
Yes, I was a Rotarian in my previous position in Shakopee. I was actually the president of the Rotary Club in Shakopee my last year before I moved here. And the first thing I did was look for a Rotary Club and settled on Daybreak Rotary, and I've loved every minute of it. And just finished my year as president of the Rotary Club.
That's right. You're a former president, and appreciate your service. You did a great job. We had a great year. And so let's talk about these three entities. Today, you mentioned Rotary and YMCA, but the focus is this Youth Action Hudson. So let's talk about the history. What is Youth Action Hudson, and how did it get started?
Yeah, Youth Action Hudson has been serving the community for nearly 40 years. And what I found out, it goes back to some Search Institute time of looking at the community and trying to find out what the community needs. And what that study revealed is that we need stuff for our youth. And so Youth Action Hudson was created. At the time, they had some Vistas and other volunteers, as well as paid staff to come in and work with the youth to develop programs, and mostly volunteer opportunities for youth to get engaged and give back to the community that they live in.
Now, this is before the YMCA came to town. In fact, Youth Action Hudson hasn't been called that entire 40 years. For a long time, it was called Community Action.
Yes, it has been.
That's what it was when I came to town here 33 years ago. But nonetheless, it was something that youth got involved with in order to learn how to serve others, get involved. But then along came the YMCA, another obviously organization that greatly impacts community, and that's been around since 1995. What are some of the youth-oriented programs that the YMCA has brought to this community since 1995?
Yeah, I think what's interesting is that many people, when they think about the YMCA, they think of the gym and swim, the fitness and aquatics, but they don't always understand that we do a lot more than that.
And it's more than just basketball leagues.
It is.
It is.
It's about how we can strengthen our community. What can we do to give back? And that's being engaged and providing opportunities for youth and families. And around teens, it's really focused on, first off, the Rotary Skate Park, which was started, it will be 25 years ago this summer, that the Rotary and the city and the Y came together to build this park behind the Y, which is free of charge for anybody to use. And that turned into developing a Rotary Teen Center. So that teen center is open every day after school, and it's open in the summertime, which is free of charge for youth to come and have a safe space, do their homework. We have staff there that help with homework and other things, but it also gives us a space that we can program out of. And one of our programs we're very happy about is our Girls Night In program, which is a 5th and 6th grade program for girls. There's a lot of changes that take place in a 5th and 6th grade girl's life. If it's relationships, if it's health, if it's body image, if it's mental health, all those different things. We have female leaders that run this program. And actually 3 years ago, we started bringing in Youth Action Hudson girls to be part of this program to really help mentor these 5th and 6th grade girls as they leave their elementary schools, moving into one of the largest middle schools in the state of Wisconsin.
And yeah, I think that's one of the biggest changes in the last 40 years. You mentioned about Search Institute and so forth, but we have not seen a decrease in the need for mental health counseling and suicide prevention and so forth.
Yeah, so along with some of the programs that we offer our Youth in Government program, which I know you were involved with a few years ago as well, yeah. Which really creates leaders about our judicial system, our government system, and a lot of our adults can learn from our youth that go through this program. But then when you go to mental health, the Y actually has our community program director, which will be leading all of our teen programs. She is a mental health first aid instructor for youth. We also worked a couple years ago with Youth Action Hudson to bring mental health ambassadors to the school. Mental health ambassadors is a program that we created along with Meredith, who was the previous executive of Youth Action Hudson, to really design a plan that we can go in and we can ask for volunteers at the high school that want to go through this program, where we can train them how to look for the signs of mental health illness and some of those concerns that we have with our youth that could lead to self-harming, suicide tendencies and some of those things. And it's been a very successful program. In fact, at Rotary a few months ago, we had one of our students of the month that talked about how much he had learned from that mental health ambassador program.
And then you mentioned Rotary multiple times there. Again, the mission of Hudson Daybreak Rotary, or at least what we believe in, is
enhancing opportunities for youth and creating a better community for all.
And so that is, why is that important to grow servant leaders?
I think we look around right now more than ever, we need to develop our leaders, and we need to not look at just the adults, but look at those youth that are so influential right now. Youth have very strong voices, and I talk to people that they say, oh, those are our future leaders. I say, no, those are leaders today. Mm-hmm. And they're also leaders of tomorrow and the future. And so if we can start them young and help them understand caring, honesty, respect, responsibility, which are also the core values of the YMCA, we can help those youth become good leaders and good role models for their peers, and also some of our adults can learn from them as well.
Okay, so let's talk about Youth Action Hudson having done all these good things along with the Y. Those two being independent now, they're going to be kind of merged. And tell us a little bit how that happened and what we can see or expect in the future.
Yeah, Youth Action Hudson for many years with some incredible leaders that have grown up in Youth Action Hudson. I look at the Michelle Tigans, who's now a VP at the YMCA. I look at Allison Sauter, who used to be Allison Matrogene, who is now a leader at the St. Croix Valley United Way. I look at those individuals that not only led Youth Action Hudson, but also had an impact on those youth. And so when we look at Youth Action Hudson, they ran a lot of incredible programs. They had Youth Action Hudson Breakfast. They also had All Dressed Up, which was the opportunity to collect dresses. And we have about 300 dresses that are stored. So when homecoming comes, when prom comes, we have dresses that students can actually take advantage of free of charge because they're not cheap. Yeah. We also look at the peer-to-peer program where we have high schoolers that go into the middle school, and they're mentors for some of these middle school students. We also look at programs that can enhance and volunteer in our community. We have Shopping with a Cop. Youth Action Hudson's at National Night Out. There are other opportunities that our Youth Action Hudson students are involved in the community giving back.
Yeah, even, I know, raking leaves for elderly folks.
Yeah.
Shoveling snow or whatever.
I think we might even have some of them that will, sell some raffle tickets for Rotary. And we had 2 of them that just got back from international exchange trips.
Right.
Both Kates that just returned.
So they are Youth
They are
Action.
Youth Action Hudson students as well, yeah.
Okay, so there's going to be a slight name change. What's that?
Yeah, we're gonna make a big change. It's gonna be Youth Action Hudson at the YMCA. We realize that the history of Youth Action Hudson is recognizable. It has a long history of successful programming. We didn't want to make a big change, but we also wanted people to realize that the Y is part of this as well. And a lot of people think of the Y as this big organization that is across the river. Hudson has the autonomy to be able to do things together and keep things local. And we really wanted to let community know that even though the Y is involved in Youth Action Hudson, it's not going to change a lot. In fact, we're going to help to enhance it, to be able to offer more programming for youth in not only Hudson, but we even look at opportunities for bigger things, the St. Croix Valley youth.
Right, because obviously the membership at our local YMCA is more than just Hudson folks.
Exactly. Yeah.
But as far as the programming, though, you say it can be enhanced. How about the scholarships that kids have been able to earn through Youth Action Hudson? Would that continue?
Yes, we were really excited when we talked to the leadership. Unfortunately, the previous executive director's husband passed away. In the process of trying to figure out what Youth Action Hudson was going to do, we reached out to them and said, hey, how can we help in the meantime? Through conversations with the board said, you know what, the Y does great things with youth. Why don't you just think about absorbing Youth Action Hudson? And along with that, with the programs, but a big piece to that was also the scholarship program. For years, our youth can volunteer, raking leaves, being at National Night Out,
providing childcare,
all those different pieces. They earn hours, and when they hit different milestones, they will receive scholarship dollars for college. And so we will continue that through our programs at the Y to be able to support those students and their post-high school education.
Yeah, I don't think it's an accident or just coincidence that many of the students of the month that our Rotary Club recognize are also Youth Action Hudson participants. But now, as far as funding, people see the YMCA, big national organization. Does this mean that the funding for the Youth Action Hudson is going to change?
No. Funding youth programs is very difficult. There's not a lot of dollars out there for funding youth programs. When you think about investing in the lives of our leaders of today and our leaders of tomorrow, you'd think people would want to just open up their wallets and provide opportunities for these youth, but it isn't. We depend on our volunteers. We also depend on our donors, just like the Y. The YMCA has two funds. We have our fund from our membership dues that pay for the lights, the building, the equipment, the salaries and so forth, but we also have a scholarship program with our membership as well. That's all thanks to our donors. Same thing with Youth Action Hudson. We are going to have two separate categories. We have dollars that come in just for Youth Action Hudson. That's going to go to help run those programs. It's going to help for those scholarships. It's going to help for those youth to become future leaders, but also help us as we continue to grow. So Cassie's not by herself in that program. Hire additional staff that we can meet the need of those youth in our programs.
So Youth Action Hudson will still qualify for some of the grants it's applied for over the years and so forth.
Yeah, and we did absorb their 501c3 under the Y, so individuals still get that tax deduction for donations to Youth Action Hudson, just like they would previously. And we also look at it as a great opportunity for individuals to give back and invest in the lives of our youth in our.
So my monthly withdrawal from my bank account that was going to Youth Action Hudson will still continue. We're not going to see a change in that.
That will go directly to Youth Action Hudson. It's not going to be diverted to the Y. It's going to be diverted to that special fund just for Youth Action Hudson. Okay. Same thing for some of our grants that we look at. Now, it does get a little complicated because we had a couple of grants that mutually benefit Youth Action Hudson and the Y, but we already worked through some of those issues to make sure that our donations go to the right category.
And for those of us that give to the YMCA, in addition to the monthly dues that we pay to the Y to be able to work out there and stuff, I know you have your partners campaign and so forth. Would there be opportunities for folks to give to the Y and then maybe designate some of the funds to Youth Action Hudson?
Yes, exactly. One thing that people don't realize that the Y gives back over $140,000 a year in financial assistance thanks to our donors. Many of us think that gym memberships are a a benefit to life, that a membership is special for only those people at a certain income. But we have individuals that come in that this is their entertainment, this is their family time, this is their movie, this is their sporting event, this is their time to get some hope, healing, some health, and other things. And so we are very cautious and careful with the dollars that we are given to steward it correctly. And so when an individual donates to the Y, if they want a portion of their dollars going to Youth Action Hudson, we can make sure that designation happens as well.
Yep. Now, I just have to comment, I know that this is about Youth Action Hudson and its partnership with the YMCA, but the YMCA itself, I mean, I can't imagine Hudson without it, number one. And number two, everything you said about it's not just a place to work out. People can get that at other facilities. I'm not going to name names, but people can do it, more quote unquote cheaply. But when you're at the Y, you're actually being part of a community. And I've seen that over the, 28 years that we've been members there, is, there's communities. People kind of get there around the same time. You see the same people. You see people talk as they're working out, and they keep track of each other's lives. So the YMCA, it's a generational thing as well. So it's important to start at the youth end, though.
Exactly. And we kind of joke, for those of us that are old enough to remember Cheers, everybody knows your name. You walk in, we can say, hi, Jamie, good morning, Jamie. Right. We say goodbye, Jamie. But we have people that come in, not just for fitness, they come in because they just want that social atmosphere. Mm-hmm. We have individuals that have lost spouses that come in just to see their friends. It's their second home. We have individuals that come in, and just an example, I had a gentleman come in a few weeks ago that had just gone through treatment. While he was in treatment, his wife died. So now he's out of treatment. He has a 7-year-old daughter. He came in trying to start his life all over. We were able to help him get in a membership. And to see him and his daughter in the gym shooting hoops or in the pool playing, it melts your heart. And that is more than just a gym and swim. That's about changing lives and impacting lives and giving people hope for tomorrow. So
this is about a community effort and focusing on youth.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
And so how can the community help?
Number of ways. First, we have the YMCA Rotary Teen Center that people don't know about. So share the news that the YMCA has programs that are free of charge for the youth.
So promote it.
Yeah.
Encourage youth to use it.
Exactly. Volunteer. If there's opportunities that if you want to come and volunteer and help paint a ramp, or help out in an evening, or help with a teen night, those are opportunities as well.
People don't need a license to teach or be a therapist or a psychologist in order to volunteer for youth.
Exactly. And we have individuals that love school, and we have students that come in that just want some help with homework. And I've got one gentleman that loves physics. He comes in and helps students when they have physics issues. Mm-hmm. So any way that people want to volunteer with their time, their talents, and their treasures, we are welcoming that.
All right, very good. Now, is there a place where folks can go to learn more about either the Y or Youth Action Hudson, or both?
Yeah, so right now we're in the transition of moving the Youth Action Hudson webpage over to the Y. On our YMCA Hudson website, we will have a tile that will say Youth Action Hudson. And all you have to do is click on that, and you can find more information about Youth Action Hudson. It should be up in the next week or so.
Excellent, great. Anything else that we didn't touch on that you want to make sure folks know about this partnership?
I know that we're very excited in talking with the board members. In fact, one of their board members, hopped off their board since it dissolved and is now on my YMCA board. We're really excited about the future, excited about our youth, excited about all the little humans that come in that are going to be Youth Action Hudson kids one day, and we want to see this continue for many years to come.
Excellent. Well, Chris, thanks for making this announcement, and thanks for your work as director of our YMCA and what you do for our community. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Jamie. You as well.
And thank you for watching another segment of Western Wisconsin Journal. I'm Jamie Johnson. Keep watching and participate in your community.